All right, let's talk about this Man of the Year trend that is currently sweeping the nation right now.
What is with this Man of the Year trend? God damn!
These men are saying the most horrendous, disgusting, threatening things to these women.
Sorry, I don't want you to block me.
I keep seeing videos of guys being like, where do you find these men? They are literally your friends.
Low-key, not even low-key, high-key. I gotta mentally prepare for this one because, ooh, I'm already heated. Anyways, hello everybody. It is me, Salem, and welcome back to my oops. Did I just hit the microphone? I'm sorry. What was I saying? And welcome back to my Chanel miniature video essay edition. And back to brunette. I had, if you will, highlight blindness, not only on my hair, but also my nose. Apparently, according to the comments. But you know, God forbid a girl want to be sparkly like Edward Cullen, you know? But speaking of, I literally have a Forks Washington shirt on. Shout out. Speaking of depression, what the hell is going on?
I want you to clean your piss off of the floor in the corner. To do a simple thing. I asked you to clean up after yourself. No.
I'm at a loss for words as to what women and single people are dealing with nowadays. I am married. I don't have my ring on right now because it actually doesn't fit me anymore. I have to get it resized. I know, I'm just like so tiny and petite, you know. I'm not. Skinny talk be like. Anyways, who said that? I'm feeling the urge to fight random strangers on the internet, which first of all, I feel that every day. Every day I wake up, I choose to be a hater. Y'all already know the drill. But recently, it's been a little worse because of the Man of the Year TikTok trend.
Our sex doesn't ever last more than 15 minutes anyway.
Who knew that Gen Z dating was so bad to the point where a whole TikTok trend is literally exposing the worst exes I have ever seen in my life? Like, genuinely, it has me wanting to find these people for you. Like, the girlies out here are struggling, like, for real. Why did I run into some TikToks of people using the Lorde song Man of the Year to basically show their exes and how do I put this in a politically correct way? How shitty they are. And unlike other trends previously before where people like be like, oh, this is my ex, like they were crazy, you know, and like maybe they didn't like clean up every now and then. No, y'all, this trend is showing people dating straight up criminals.
Joke's on you, I have chlamydia. Straight
up like people who snuck onto Earth. And if y'all aren't chronically online like I am, don't worry, I got you. This is what my channel is all about. I deep dive into internet culture and trends for you guys to save you some brain cells. So remember to like and subscribe because truly it is a sacrifice I am willing to make. Originally, the song was actually about Lorde's gender identity and how she felt like she is just exploring that. Man of the Year hinting at the fact that she's trying to get more in touch with her masculine side. But TikTok kind of misconstrued the lyrics, I think, and decided to make it into a trend. But y'all, this trend got so big and so bad that even Lorde was like, y'all, take it. It's okay. I saw the men that y'all are dating out here and I have nothing but thoughts and prayers. That's how bad it is. When the original singer of the song for the trend is even like, damn y'all, it's okay, use my song, vent sis. Hashtag Man of the Year has over 76,000 videos and the audio for Lorde's Man of the Year has been used over 200,000 times. And as of Monday, June 23rd, the audio is #1 on TikTok's most viral 50 music charts and #4 on their top 50. And Spotify, the song has already surpassed 14 million listeners. And truly, at first it really was funny just seeing people being able to find a safe space to vent, showing people how their previous partners were ridiculous, crying on the phone, saying, I want you back and stuff.
Rose, please answer. I seriously didn't freaking do anything.
Bro, why did he moan though? It was kind of scary to see how quick the trend then evolved into something far more dark, where there were videos and audio records, messages of these girls' exes admitting to straight up crimes, videos of just straight up domestic abuse.
So if you want to jump off of a bridge and you want to use me as an excuse to jump off of a bridge, then you should do that.
And even grape of other women.
But you didn't mean what?
What do you think?
The 3 times?
No, after that, when did it happen again?
That it's just so disheartening, soul destroying, and so just disturbing.
Because you're my own thing, because you're a failure?
You know you're a failure. Everything that's wrong with you when you leave is still gonna be wrong with you. Honestly,
I'm not trying to attack
but I am attacking you right now because you're stealing my things.
No, I'm not.
When you leave,
I think in a much more broader scheme, I've been very open and have made videos in the past about how hard Gen Z dating is. Personally, I'm married already, but I have a lot of single friends, and I know that that has been a conversation surrounding Gen Z for honestly a while. I feel like there's a couple of battles that Gen Z has in general nowadays, whether it's the fact that people are struggling to make friends, people are struggling to make meaningful connection, finding meaningful connection. But a big part of that is literally dating culture and how horrible it is right now for Gen Z specifically, to the point where there's like an actual science behind it, where it's proven that Gen Z is actually dating less and has less meaningful connections. So I think just this becoming a trend and seeing these types of trends getting worse and worse every single year is no coincidence, because I always say the internet is a microcosm of the real world. And honestly, it's kind of crazy to see how it's getting worse and worse. And the worst part is people are still clueless as to why this is happening. Meanwhile, the men responding to this man of the year trend are basically like, instead of, you know, taking accountability, saying, you know what, the girls and they thems of Gen Z, you know, also female presenting people, if you will. Girl, y'all got me feeling like Rihanna. I ain't trying to get canceled. Oh.
Both men and women and non-binary people of all gender appropriations and the pronouns.
Point is, instead of them taking that to heart, trying to do better and being like, damn, maybe we should all collectively grow as people, because this trend really truly is exposing the worst parts of dating culture right now, they instead were like, nah, I don't do that. And they even responded by making a trend called Woman of the Year, which flopped, by the way, because it just made them look worse. Anyways, quite frankly, if anyone's upset at this trend, it's because the shoe fits, and quite frankly, those shoes are clown shoes. I'm sorry, I had to say it. So today's video is going to be a little different. It's still going to be a video essay, you know, rant type of style video. My last video started hella beef. If you guys didn't see that, my video was on Carissa Collins and her miniature cult.
Your husband couldn't pull out of a driveway. You have a mixed baby fetish and a breeding kink. I'm done. Come on.
It started so much beef, like I'm not even gonna lie. So I'm gonna let that type of video style kind of sizzle in the background for a bit. But now I got new beef, which is with random strangers' exes on the internet. You know what doesn't got beef in it? Beyond Meat. So you know how people say that plant-based meat is fake or full of chemicals? I actually kind of thought that too, until I actually looked at Beyond Meat. Beyond Meat is made with clean, simple ingredients like peas, red lentils, and avocado oil. And the process to make it, it's actually literally more like making pasta, heating, cooling, and giving it pressure to give it a meat-like texture. That's it. Y'all know that I am on my own health journey, especially with PCOS. It's recommended that you actually eat a lot more plant-based things, all while trying to get protein in. It seems impossible, but honestly, this makes it super easy. Their new plant-based burger, Beyond Burger, has 21 grams of protein, no cholesterol, and 75% less saturated fat than a typical beef burger, and still hits when you're craving something satisfying. Well, I don't want to stop eating meat completely. Don't worry, you don't have to do that. This is just an amazing alternative to get some plant-based protein in, all while it's still tasting super legit. Learn more about their clean plant-based ingredients and food philosophy at beyondmeat.com. Discussion topic 1, Man of the Year. So like I said in the beginning of the video, this trend actually started with Lorde the singer, you know, the never be royals. Y'all remember when she was like shushing people? I am my mother's child, I love you till my breathing stops, I love you. Loki, she's hella iconic for that. Anyways, so Lorde hasn't made music for such a long time, and she's actually coming out with a new album this month. I'm super excited to hear it. I am Lorde, yeah, 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 Lorde. One of her songs that she came out with was Man of the Year, where she talks about her gender identity journey. And of all the songs off her upcoming album, this is the one that she is most proud of.
And I looked at myself in the mirror and I was like, that's me. That's who I am. I really just like saw my body as an extension of the work of art.
Y'all know how I always say how the internet ruins everything? There's a line in her song, let's hear it for the Man of the Year. Well, basically they took the meaning and made it into something else. And many people grabbed this snippet of her song to kind of show examples of men, usually exes or their current partners, being the absolute fucking worst.
How do I get you to stop yelling at me tonight? Genuinely.
Now you seem to not respond unless I'm yelling at you.
Done you really wrong. I know that I've done things that have really hurt our relationship.
Look, she's crying. Do you hear her crying? Like we care. I don't give a.
Some posted screenshots of text, others shared videos they held onto for years. It has gone extremely viral and has even landed the Man of the Year song on the top 50 on Spotify. Look guys, before we get into all of this, I just want to say a disclaimer. Yes, you are so correct, not all men. I am here for human rights and everything. However, it's definitely these men. Some of y'all are dating super anime villains, okay?
Treat you as well as I've treated you, and then you give me nothing.
Like, why are some of y'all exes out here making remixes and sending it back to you of you crying over the phone?
I really liked you, you know. Hurt my feelings. Hurt my feelings. Hurt my feelings.
Ain't no way. At first, it was genuinely funny. I saw a lot of stuff where I was like, girl, I'm so glad you left, or you were really dating that. Some of y'all with these videos genuinely were doing charity work. I'm sorry. Some of y'all were doing charity work and I'm quite frankly very shocked. Some of these men are genuinely unhinged and have a mega parasocial relationship or something, because some of these men aren't even these girls' boyfriends. For example, this one by Jennifer M. Reed. First of all, look at how gorgeous this woman is. Let's just look at the next slide. Tell me why this is a whole ass essay. Let's just read this together, because from the first glance of this, you would expect that this person was her boyfriend or something, you know? Let's just read through it. Hey, I don't think this is going to work out. To be honest, I don't feel like we have much in common. I feel like you're potentially very high maintenance. I'm already triggered. Anyways, and maybe a little judgmental. God forbid a woman looks like they take care of themselves, because then people automatically assume that they're vain. But when men want to get super muscular and tan and also get work, by the way, it's just not talked about as much as when women do it. And when men do it, they don't get shamed for it. Then, oh, end of the world. And the whole we'll figure it out thing really isn't of any interest to me. And that sucks, because I'm very attracted to you. You're probably one of the most prettiest women I've ever talked to. Y'all, I can't do this. Like, so by the way, the reason why a lot of women are considered pretty to men like this is because they're high maintenance, because they actually put an effort into how they look. So then, like, what do you want? It's giving when men are like, I like my woman natural, and then they pull up a picture of Kylie Jenner. Girl. Anyways, it's kind of abnormal. And I do feel like you're afraid of commitment. Like, I'd love to be a happy couple with you, but there's so much unknown with you. I feel like this is the type of text that you would send to someone that you've been talking to for like months, and like y'all don't even know what you are and everything, you know? There's a lot of wondering and stuff like that. You want to set boundary and stuff. Like, that's okay. However, girl, tell me why. She responds back, we've only hung out once. Imagine being so entitled and delusional that you send that type of a crazy text to someone that you've hung out with only once. Now, if you think that's unhinged, guys, that was probably the most normal of all of the trend, like for real. Here's another one. Let's hear it for the Man of the Year. Let's slide to this text. Hey, so I was thinking, since I'm in love with Kiera and I cheated on you with her, even though I'm still deeply in love with you. Pause. I, Salem Tovar, am here to tell you guys that you guys are not allowed to date without my permission anymore. I'm sorry. I've seen the videos. I've seen y'all's exes. Hereby and henceforth, all potential partners must be drafted into my DMs for pre-approval, because y'all, what is this? Whatever. Let's keep reading. What if we all just dated? Y'all, you know it's bad when I can't even commentate on that. My one job being a commentary YouTuber. I am at a loss for words. Here is another one. Sometimes when I'm not in the mood to kiss you, but you're all over me, I think about my mom and it low-key puts me in the mood. IDK, is that weird?
I'm calling the police. Hello?
Imagine typing that out and pressing send and still having the audacity to ask if that's weird. I just know Sigmund Freud is rolling in his grave right now. This is another girly again. She mad cute or whatever. A man messaged her, "You're so dark. If people saw us together, then racism would be solved." I think I'm done. Bye guys. I'm done. I'm done with today's video. I'm done. Bye. It was nice seeing you. Now, believe it or not, that was not the worst of the trend. There are so much more that are so unhinged and horrible and horrific that even Lorde came onto TikTok to respond to her song being used with this trend and her caption saying these messages ... Imagine it being so bad that the actual artist has to come out and say something about it. But as this trend started to get bigger and bigger, there started to be a lot more darker TikToks and videos and screenshots and voice memos hopping into this trend that honestly is like really mad concerning.
The messages and especially the voice memos that were being shared in this trend very quickly became extremely unhinged and of course violent.
Some people have literally recorded things from their previous partners or current partners where people even in the comment sections are like, you can literally make an actual legal police filed court case against this person because at this point it's not even something about, oh, he refused to clean up his mess and stuff like that. No, it's straight up like audio recordings of these people, of their partners or exes, straight up giving them death threats.
You're a whore. You're a female that's a whore.
I am like genuinely shocked, but also am not shocked at this trend showing the darker side to these situations and stuff because unfortunately it seems to be very common, especially nowadays, where there is a bigger divisiveness and gap in dating culture more than ever. Like literally, dating in general has gotten a lot harder. According to Pew Research, nearly half of Americans believe dating has become a lot harder in just the past 10 years, but it's more common sentiment amongst women than men, with 55% of women feeling that way and only 39% of men, respectively. As the Man of the Year trend grows suggests, the most cited reason dating has gotten harder is because it's considered an increased risk, both physically and emotionally.
Your mom doesn't even think you curse. She thinks you're a saint because you have upheld this image in front of this particular person. People do that all the time. So why is it such a crazy concept that some men are absolutely nasty, rude, mean, malicious, toxic, all those things in front of the one person who knows them best and different around everybody else?
In a lot of these videos, you will see people commenting that they're sympathizing and empathizing with the creator, people saying that they didn't deserve this, as well as people, of course, dragging the ex or the person who is part of the man who is the subject of the Man of the Year trend. But I've also seen a massive rise in comments like these and like these, where people are saying, guys, just stay single, it's not worth it. Some people saying marriage seems so scary. Dating just doesn't seem like it right now.
No woman is safe. I repeat, no fucking woman is safe.
Literally, no one deserves to be talked like this or be put into these situations. People might see these trends and become weary of dating because you never know. Abusers tend to love bomb and be very romantic at first, and then they can completely switch up on you. So you never know with those types of people. And it's literally proven that scientifically, a lot of women are fearful of being vulnerable and putting themselves out there because of situations like this. And you'd think that because there's such a huge divide that, you know, men seeing this trend and stuff, their response would also be sympathetic, empathetic, and I don't know, they would do better. Unfortunately, that was not the case because as a rebuttal to Man of the Year, men started to post something called Woman of the Year. And let's just say it completely flopped because, girl, no.
That once again, they have completely misunderstood a trend, co-opted it, and then ruined it to try and make fun of, belittle, and humiliate women. Starting with this man right here who is still doubling down on the video he created, in which he decided to go after his girlfriend for sending him this text, which is describing SA. And then this man decided to post one that currently has over 16 million views. And then I started going back and looking at all the trending ones that men have posted, and they all look like they're kind of written using the same language and sentence structuring, as if they're kind of copying and pasting and hardly changing them. The worst ones I could find that still checked out as real were just stories of women cheating on men. But to even get anywhere close to the experience women have, they had to make up lies, and even then they still ended up accidentally writing SA stories.
Which is not only malicious, but it's often very unconscious and still just as damaging. and it really does dilute the power of the original message and trends. It's like taking the not all men are like that sentiment to the max and completely ignoring every single red flag possible. Just because you don't know how your friends act when in relationships with women doesn't mean that this type of behavior doesn't happen. And that is a conversation that is so important when it comes to this man of the year trend and the backlash towards it.
This man of the year trend really highlights why so many men are lonely.
Discussion topic 2, the backlash from men. The way a lot of men are responding to this trend with women genuinely coming out with their stories of basically freaking survival and saying outwardly, hey, this is why we're not dating because we're very terrified nowadays because scientifically speaking, the rise of DV and toxicity is really on the rise, and that's the reason why there's a literal divide in Gen Z dating culture right now. Basically, men's responses were, that's not true, or that's not me.
I don't know a single guy in my life that would text a woman like that.
Look at what you're doing and how you deserve this with the woman of the year trend. Now, some men also went as far as to do the whole thing of videos and screenshots, but honestly, it just made them look worse. For example, this person, she says, look, I only kissed that guy because you scribbled on me twice with 2 different girls. Like, I'm still trying to get my head around that. You blank 2 different girls, and I get that you like to say it is in the past, but it was only 1 month ago, so I feel like I was just sitting there letting it happen, so I went out and did it. I'm genuinely so sorry, Jack. Please forgive me. I want us to be together. And you're probably thinking, wait, what did he do? He was probably innocent, which first of all, you probably not, because this is all bullcrap. Yeah, he scribbled out the word cheated twice, by the way. Cheated twice. And of course the comments, why'd she apologize? She should have kissed another at that point. Not for real. If you did too, she should do too. I don't believe in being the bigger person, y'all. When I go low, I go lower. Covering cheated as if we can't use context clues is so crazy. Someone says, let's hear it for the man who doesn't realize he's the problem. Not for real, like, not he thought that people were going to agree with him. This is another one where a guy called his ex just to annoy her after running into her at a restaurant.
I just wanted to call to tell you good night.
I don't give a fuck.
That's so aggressive for what?
I don't care. I don't care about good nights.
Bro, why are you being so mad?
Because you're annoying.
I didn't even do anything. I was just calling to tell you good night.
You're chopped, you're ugly, you're annoying, and you're a piece of stop texting me and calling me.
When one commenter asked, well, why are you calling your ex? He replied, because I was eating peacefully and she walked into the restaurant and flipped me off, so I decided to call her a different day to bother her. I had to re-block her right after though, LMAO. Wait, why she kind of eating up though? No, for real, like a lot of these men made this trend as a response, and honestly, their stuff is nowhere wildly, like, you can't compare the two, you know? There are some men who hopped on this trend who rightfully so did have a story where their girlfriends cheated on them or treated them horribly, because let's not pretend and act as if women are always innocent in relationships, especially when it's toxic. Just as there can be a power dynamic imbalance where the man has more power and takes that to advantage, there can be that way. It can also happen vice versa, where a woman is or toxic towards their male partners. But there were very few videos where this trend was used rightfully, you know, but the majority of them did not fit the proper theme of the trend, because many of these men only posted as a response to be petty, not to bring awareness, not to show what they survived, not to show why they're terrified of dating nowadays, but just to shame women and to make it about them. Be like, what about me, guys? Literally, what about you? It's about you guys all the time. Like, I don't know, can women have something? This isn't just an ex problem, a partner problem. People were extending this trend all the way to their own fathers and father figures in their life and how they have failed them.
And then don't contact any of my kids again.
Okay.
I mean it.
Say that.
Don't tell me
Ever.
Don't tell me what to do.
You should never say that to a
Don't
child.
tell me what to do.
ever.
Because truly, at the end of the day, this isn't necessarily about boyfriends or all this type of stuff. It's just mostly about how more than ever, there is a lot of power in the hands of social media, especially with specifically Gen Z men and men in general nowadays, because of people like Andrew Tate or people who are in positions of power who are constantly feeding these young men and just men in general that women are the enemy. Whether they are girlfriends, fiancés, wives, or even your own daughters. Meanwhile, women aren't trying to shame or trying to attack anyone. This is more so showing the reality as to why there is that huge gap in dating culture and also a gap in going no contact with a lot of parents. A lot of people believe that online dating and social media has not had a negative or positive overall impact on dating, but most feel it's the biggest reason why dating has become easier, but it's also easier to ghost, to manipulate, to strengthen that power imbalance.
And these men are saying the most horrendous, abusive, disgusting, threatening things to these women. This isn't how guys are. And women are saying, no, this is how guys are.
Yeah.
This is how not how all men are.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of men like this.
Well,
you just they don't do this around you.
Yeah.
There was one guy who went viral and deleted his video completely. I can insert a very quick clip. I don't have the whole thing, but I remember seeing it.
I don't know a single guy in my life that would text a woman like that.
And basically in this video, this guy was talking about the man of the year trend and how he is completely shocked at how horrible these men are and everything, which at first is fine because there are some men who are coming out to speak out about the man of the year trend and how they as men are disgusted with that type of behavior. But this particular guy was basically, he was on the right track at first, but then said something along the lines of, I don't know where you guys are meeting this man, and I don't know what you guys are doing to attract these type of men, which first of all, pause. That's literally victim blaming.
But there was a man who posted a video where he was like, I don't know, where do y'all find these men? I don't know a single guy like this. Like, what rock are y'all finding these men out of? And my answer is your group chat. The thing about it is, what I don't think he understands is the concept of duality and how somebody can be one way in front of one person and another way in front of the other.
And like I've stated before, a lot of women are afraid to be vulnerable because many times abusers don't come off as abusers. I feel like we have to stop acting as though there is a certain image of an abuser in people's head. I've talked about this so many times in my videos where just as people aren't always looking like they're struggling on the outside, it can be the same thing where an abuser can be considered conventionally attractive or wealthy, which is comparably the opposite of what people think of when they think of the word. So the whole argument of you're the one that's attracting these people and all this type of stuff is just, girl, that just doesn't work. That just doesn't work because anyone can be this way. It doesn't matter what type of energy you're putting out there. If anything, it's completely stupid to say that because the majority of women who are more sensitive and very empathetic tend to be the ones that people pry on the most because people in power know that they are sensitive and that can hurt them even more and they want to hurt them. This guy goes on to say that he doesn't know any men like this, so he doesn't understand what anyone's talking about when it comes to this trend. This bothers me so much because, again, it's giving very much the vibe of, well, just because it happens to you doesn't mean it happens to everyone. Or when you have a very bad experience with one person and you try telling like someone who's friends with them, and then that person responds with, well, that person wasn't mean to me, so that definitely didn't happen to you because they're nice to me. Like, that's not how it works. That's not how it works. This very much does happen. The only difference is that many times, especially when it comes to online communities with men who are motivated by, you know, belittling women and, you know, making stuff popular, such as the Woman of the Year trend, their motivation isn't to become better, to understand, or to be allies or anything like that. What's in their head is to genuinely find a way to always put the blame on a woman and to defend their homies things and act shocked when those red flags turn into a whole damn blimp. Some men are saying that this trend is like public shaming and that this isn't gonna help anyone want to be better and stuff. But quite frankly, if you saw that trend and if you are male presenting, whatever, you're someone who was offended by that trend, I'm sorry, but if you're offended by that trend, it's only because the shoe fits. A well secure man who has treated women really well in their life would see that trend and respond, such as these men on TikTok.
This man of the year trend really highlights why so many men are lonely. These videos are absolutely insane. I just heard audio of a woman asking her boyfriend or husband or whatever to vacuum, to which he proceeds to throw a full-on temper tantrum. And he said that it's her fault he doesn't clean because he wanted to get a chore chart and they never did. There's only been one video out of the 1,000+ videos that I've made that I had to turn the comments off. And it was when I made my man versus bear video and was trying to explain to men why women felt that way. I just shut off the comments because so many men were threatening to grape women in the comments. And even saying that, I know a bunch of guys are going to be like, oh, you're a white knight, you're a simp. No, it's called being a decent human being.
Kind of a quick flashback. Remember when TikTok asked, very viral question, would you rather be stuck in the woods with a random man or a bear? And most women picked the bear, and then men completely freaked out. And the reasoning behind this was because a bear might attack out of instinct, but at least it's predictable. With a man, you don't know if he's going to flirt with you, follow you home, freak out if you say no, tell you that you're lying, gaslight you, or do something like this.
No one will say that I liked the bear attack. No one will talk about the bear's bright future. If the bear and the man both want to hurt me and I scream loud enough, there's a better chance that the bear will actually run away. Men getting angry at this don't realize that there are fates worse than death.
Wildest part is that many guys weren't even concerned why women said that, just as with the man of the year trend, when women finally call out harmful behavior with actual evidence, some men respond like they're the ones under attack, or again, just with being like, nuh-uh. This trend isn't about hating men. It's just about realizing that a lot of men hate being held accountable. Women finally air out their worst experiences they've had with men, and instead of taking accountability, some guys hijack the trend and make it about their struggles. And sure, some men are struggling. I mean, we keep hearing about the male loneliness epidemic, but what's not talked about enough is how much of that loneliness and the struggle to find girlfriends and wives is self-inflicted. Men are being radicalized online into thinking feminism and women and the everyday woman are the enemy, that vulnerability is weakness, and that women don't want partners, that they want power over them. So instead of building emotional intelligence or healthier connections, many turn to extremism online, to podcasts, forums, influencers that teach them to resent women, not relate to them. Somewhere along the way, being kind to women stopped being cool. If a guy publicly defends a woman now, he's called a simp. If he treats his girlfriend with love and respect, he's considered a cuck. If he dares to say something like, guys, maybe women deserve to feel safe, and they are told that they are a white knight and that she's not gonna choose you, bro, even though bro literally has like a wife and 3 loving children. There is a new culture surrounding shame, and it's honestly ruining men, and it's literally projecting directly onto the dating scene. Because if a guy can't show basic empathy without being attacked by his own gender, how is he supposed to build meaningful relationships, let alone a long-lasting one? That's why when trends like Men of the Year pop off, so many men don't get it, because not only are they not allowed to get it, but they also don't want to get it, because understanding would require empathy, and empathy is treated like a weakness and is often shamed. At this point, this isn't about who pays for dinner or who opens the door. This is about how even acknowledging women's pain gets turned into a joke, and allyship becomes cringe. Love doesn't stand a chance, and love becomes obsolete, and love becomes kind of this thing that people not only are longing for, but don't believe in. Empathy isn't just shamed in dating, it's shamed in friendships too. A lot of men don't call out their friends, not because they agree with their behavior, but because their friendships aren't even safe enough to be honest or even go deep enough to where they understand each other on that level. Think about it. How deep are most male friendships allowed to go? They're often built around sports, games, drinking, roasting each other, nothing too emotional. So when a guy crosses a line, says something gross about women, cheats on his girlfriend, or brags about something toxic, the others stay quiet, not because they don't see it, but because saying something might get them labeled as soft, buzzkill, or yet again, a simp or cringe. It's easier to laugh along than risk being isolated. So bad behavior continues, the bar keeps dropping, and women are online literally begging to be seen, heard, and believed and getting clowned for it. But maybe that's the real reason so many men feel so incredibly disconnected, not only from themselves, but also from each other and from women. Because vulnerability is a muscle, and if you never use it, you forget how to. And this is the reason why there is a huge dating problem within Gen Z and why we keep seeing trends like this pop up, what seems to be every single month. Discussion topic 3, the perils of Gen Z dating. I've made a lot of videos in the past on the whole toxic alpha male subculture on the internet and how they think and how toxic it is that there are even communities like this who are very, very anti-woman, and in their brain and in their chronically online space, they believe that all women have an OnlyFans, eat hot chip and lie and cheat and have lip filler, which first of all, what's wrong with all that? I mean, obviously not the cheating part, but like they genuinely believe that everyone is like that, even though when you step outside into the real world and touch grass, you'll find that, yeah, a lot of people actually live very normal lives, but because they consume content that is very anti-woman and they consume content from people who purposely make trends combating survival stories such as this trend, they tend to leech onto that and be like, yes, we are the true victims. We are. Like, girl, donkeys be like, yeah. I mean, they are acting like asses, so makes sense. Girl, they gonna get me for that. They already got me once. They gonna get me again. In a lot of these spaces, it's encouraged for men to not feel empathy for women whatsoever. And they're literally told to see these types of stories and trends like this as man-hating, man-attacking, and to not take it serious and instead take it as a direct criticism to them, which is why there has been such a huge rise of men deflecting and everything and defending themselves and stuff and defending other guys who are clearly ain't worth defending whatsoever, because why in the world would you defend something like this?
As a female, definitely you're a whore. Just straight up, you're definitely a whore.
I'm a side eye you. I really will. Whereas women are saying, this is my story. This is why we're afraid to date, because I'm afraid to be in a position like this. The way that a lot of these men in these subcultures are responding is they view it as, instead of growing and doing better and trying to understand as to why there is this gap, they're viewing it as kind of like this, how dare you demand so much of me? Which, first of all, not yelling at your partner is the bare minimum. Not blaming them, gaslighting them is the bare minimum. Not doing stuff like this.
I want you to clean your piss off of the floor. No.
Or texting people stuff like this is the bare minimum. So I don't understand why some men are responding as they just want everything from me, where women are just asking for bare minimum safety and trust. But how can a lot of these young Gen Z men give into that trust when they're actively being told that women are out to get them, that women will supposedly falsely accuse them of, grape every 2 seconds, according to them, by the way. And yes, that is an actual narrative that is being spun in these groups, which is literally so disgusting and just not true. They're seeing women as a threat, even though this trend is literally telling them that the real threat is the power imbalance and narratives and toxic communities such as these that convinces men like this to say stuff like this and think that it's okay, because it's absolutely not. I've seen it a lot where women will post their partner and their partner clearly isn't interested in how they feel. They are rude, have red flags, and for some reason they'll backtrack and be like, guys, he was just having a bad day. Like, isn't it so funny how he puts away the groceries with the bags in it already? Isn't it funny how he never flushes the toilet? That's just Harold being Harold. Like, he's just silly like that. Girl, I don't find that cute. I ain't laughing about that. There is a mixture of both of this where women feel like the need to defend men like this because they believe that they don't deserve more. And then on the polar opposite, in these subcultures of men, they're being told, do not give more. And women want too much. And now there is kind of like these clashing of beliefs on both ends of Gen Z culture within men and women, where we're not getting anything from anyone, which is why there is this huge gap of people not being able to make meaningful relationships and connections at all, because for some reason it's considered cringe to put in effort. It's cringe to meet each other's needs. It's cringe to want more and expect more out of people, and that's considered asking too much. And we're too individualists to give that, even though that's not how relationships work. Many people will say relationships are 50-50, but honestly, relationships are 100 and 100. Sometimes if your partner is going through a mental health crisis, maybe sometimes it'll be 30, 70. I had to figure out the math there. Leave me alone. It's been a long day. But the whole point is that needs morph and change. Sometimes your partner will need alone time and they won't need as much out of you. Sometimes they will need a lot out of you when they just are going through something. Maybe your partner has specific needs that no one has ever asked of you before, but they're not even that big, but you feel like it's really big because it's just different. The reason why that just isn't working nowadays with Gen Z is because dating culture is just really, really new, not only to a lot of Gen Zers, but the way dating is approached now is you never know what people's true intentions are because everything is done through social media. And as we can tell from trends like this, it does kind of scare people into wanting a relationship. However, I will say I personally view it more as a PSA of like, don't get this type of behavior. There's nothing wrong with demanding respect. There's nothing wrong with having needs or wanting more. I feel like social media often romanticizes things that are the bare minimum. Sometimes they even desensitize us from people talking to you badly. I do think that the Man of the Year trend can desensitize us a little bit because some people will joke about it in the comments or be like, oh my God, like my partner does this and like try to relate and stuff. When in reality, it's like we can't always make bad behavior a trend because unfortunately there are going to be that group of people who unfortunately, like a lot of many women and men who will post their partners and their partners clearly have a lot of red flags and then they get backlash and then they, backtrack and be like, wait guys, you guys don't know the full story and stuff. And I think that is a direct result of just the romanticization of the bare minimum as well as the desensitization of so many bad things going viral in general that I feel like Gen Z has kind of internalized that and kind of will be exposed to these situations and not know whether it's right or whether it's wrong.
And very obviously, yes, this is wrong. This is wrong behavior and wrong attitudes, and this toxicity is wrong to anyone with two eyeballs. You'd think it'd be that easy, but for some reason on the internet, it is not that easy for people to understand how this is very obviously wrong, which is why we do see people defending some of these men, or whenever a man hops on the Woman of the Year trend, unlike the comments that women leave on the Men of the Year trends, they're a lot more violent and hateful towards the woman. Platforms like TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, CapCut, I don't know, have blurred the lines between trauma and entertainment, and I feel like there is this repeated exposure to not only shocking behavior from other people, but just shocking events and everything, which can lead to desensitization from Gen Z. And when it comes to relationships or otherwise, it has made red flags feel not normalized, but definitely not surprising. Abusive texts and manipulations are now a trend to background music. When a woman shares her story through a meme or trend, it's easier for the audience to treat it kind of like content instead of what it is, a cry for help or a trauma response. And it almost invokes like this weird unempathetic scroll and forget attitude amongst a lot of Gen Zers and just people online in general. And it reduces our ability to feel any real empathy. And what's worse is that it conditions some women to tolerate red flags because they've been told implicitly and explicitly that everyone goes through this. Everyone just has that boyfriend that's just kind of crazy, even though it's like, Unfortunately, it is very common, but what can we do to stop this type of behavior from reoccurring? Well, this is why people make trends to begin with, right? To bring awareness as to why this isn't okay. But then it kind of just goes into an it kind of just gets back into this endless circle of us trying to constantly find empathy and understanding as to why these trends are happening, and then people checking out mentally from them. And every few weeks, it feels like there's a new trend on TikTok where women expose the worst thing a man has ever done to them. There was, he's a 10, but then tell me without telling me, then if he wanted to, if he would, Now it's man of the year. And what started as a sarcastic, it's slowly getting worse. It's slowly getting worse every single time because it's no longer, oh, he forgot my birthday. It's, he told me I was too emotional while he cheated. He drove drunk with me in the car. He remixed my crying into a song and then posted it. And now this trend is morphing into another trend, which is me versus the man who traumatized me. And the reason why it keeps happening online is simple. This is the only place some women feel safe enough to say it. And even then, some of them aren't. Because of this trend, a lot of men have actually reached back out to these women, threatening them, telling them to delete these TikToks in their stories, even though it's real and true. These aren't attention grabs, they're community calls. Women are using humor and to process real harm because in real life, no one's listening. And when men are either silent or dismissive or trying to hijack the narrative, these stories just are getting louder and far worse till the trend cycle repeats over and over because the behavior keeps happening, because accountability is rare, and because sharing online is sometimes the only way to heal. Now, there can be a conversation in itself about bringing your trauma or your story online. Some people are taking it completely the wrong way. I don't necessarily think that the way some people perceive it as, oh, these women are just trying to make their hurt go viral. I don't think it's what it is at all. If anything, it keeps going viral because harm keeps happening.
And it also doesn't help that there is the, you know, this adversary kind of at works here where young men are being told that they should be desensitized, that women should be desensitized, and that they should also be desensitized to talking poorly to people and making bad choices and everything. There is a really huge divide in Gen Z dating culture. And I do think that trends like this should actually start a bigger conversation around the dating pool and allow us to do better together as, you know, people and stuff, and realize, yes, of course, the man of the year trend isn't every single man out there. How many times do we have to say it? But also, this is an opportunity for us to open that conversation as to address a real fear that a lot of many women have of that happening to them. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. In response to all of the trends getting, you know, a little crazy and stuff, there has been a lot of people taking back this narrative and posting great things that their partner has done for them, sweet things that their partner has done for them, as a true celebration of being the man of the year.
How do you think I look?
This leaves us with one question. What is the difference between men like this and then men like this? Everything that we've talked about throughout this video genuinely is an endless loop, and the only way to break out of the loop is through self-actualization, accountability, and the cringe word empathy. And many times, most humans can easily get to that spot themselves. Some people may need more help through father figures, mother figures, friends, and all of that. But what happens when the majority of the Gen Z men who are displaying this type of behavior can't do it themselves, or at least are having a very tough time doing it by themselves, and then have this echo chamber online that's telling them that they don't actually have to do all that, and apart from that, have no father figure, mother figure, or friends? Well, you get this result.
So, fuck you. Have a terrible fucking night. Go fuck yourself.
And instead of doing a normal person thing when a normal person is confronted with stuff like this, which is to be like, well, it is what it is. I'm either going to seek therapy or find tools to develop that self-actualization myself. They instead are being told on the internet that the reason why they are like this is because society is to blame and they should take it out on society. Girl, no. So then what is left to possibly reach these pea-brains about how important accountability is? Well, trends like this. This is why it keeps happening. And men keep on minimizing the harm, redirecting the blame, and making false equivalences. Social media aside, trends aside, when your relationship is built on respect, there's no need to lie, manipulate, or make excuses. You don't protect someone by denying the harm they caused. You protect them by encouraging them to grow, which is what leads to men like this. And these are the type of men and types of partners, even with, you know, LGBT people, not, you know, the majority of how people identify using this sound just people in general. People in healthy relationships don't avoid accountability, period. They welcome it. People in healthy relationships, whether it's with their parents, whether it's through friends, whether it's via social media or outside of social media, whether it's through a partner, literally anyone in a healthy relationship, they are rooted in self-awareness, empathy, emotional safety. They're motivated by protecting the connection through honesty. The power dynamic is mutual power and mutual respect. People in healthy relationships want the outcome of their relationship to grow, not get diminished or put on pause due to behaviors like this. And the emotional skill that's needed for people in healthy relationships, it's a high emotional intelligence, which is regulating empathy and boundaries. Is that hard? Is that a lot to ask? Apparently it is. But as soon as you step out of your echo chamber, what people are saying on social media to give up on relationships, or how all women are the enemy, or if you just want to stay single and work on yourself, that's okay too.
I think a lot of people, after involving themselves in this trend, might feel like, oh my god, there's no hope for me, but there is. Surround yourself with people who actually make you feel safe and hype you up even on boring days. Don't let anyone make you feel crazy for wanting better or expecting the bare minimum and respect. Your standards aren't never too much. It's simply what you deserve. Young people, if you're watching this, do not give up hope. Go outside, touch grass, have a genuine heart, obviously have boundaries when it comes to dating and stuff. All I can say is don't listen to dating advice from people you don't want to be like. Young men, look at these trends and learn how not to be like. Young women, look at these trends, look at this behavior and realize that it's not acceptable and do better as a collective, because the cure to bridging that gap in Gen Z dating culture truly is for all of us to just have mutual respect. And it's actually kind of sad that we can't even get there. But who knows? Honestly, this is the first time in many generations where women are finally speaking up, showing how they have been treated, and they're trying to take back their power by doing so. And I hope that trends like this that keep coming out can allow us to have these conversations surrounding dating culture and friendship culture and everything to make us realize, like, damn, we need to do better.
I know you're like 10.5 hours away, but I picked you flowers and I'll put them in the camper just for you. Also, they match the sunset.
Alright guys, that is it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you watched the entire thing, make sure to comment down a duck emoji down below. If you guys haven't already, make sure to like and subscribe. Y'all, if you guys can get problematic people like the men in these trends to 1 million followers, y'all can get me to 1 million followers. Thank you. Remember to like and subscribe. Also click the notification bell by the subscribe button so you guys get notified every single time I upload. I only have very few brain cells left when I'm reviewing these internet cultures, rabbit holes, and everything, so like and subscribe before it's too late. How many times do I have to tell you? If you haven't already, make sure to follow me on my Instagram at _Salem Tovar_, where I just go on my story and rant and post whatever, whenever, if you want to get to know me a little bit more. Ding! I also have a podcast called the Salem Tovar Podcast on Spotify, Apple Music. Give it a good rating. I would greatly appreciate it. Comment down below what your opinion is on all of this. Remember, keep it cute, keep it cordial, or else you're gonna get blocked. Are you someone who is having difficulty dating? What is your opinion on the Man of the Year trend? Does it trigger you? Do you like it? What's your opinion? Y'all know that before I end every video, I give you guys some homework. So this is your guys' homework. Don't text your ex. Alright, that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!